Welcome back to If You Didn't Know. This episode is a little different than previous episodes. I've invited all of the candidates for city council and mayor's race here in the city of Denton to come sit down with me, tell us all what they love about the city of Denton and what their big idea or vision for the city of Denton is if they get elected. So the way we'll do this episode, we're going to block them together by each race that we've got going on. First, we'll start with the mayor's race, give each of those candidates an opportunity to answer those questions, tell us about themselves. From there, we'll go to District 1 and District 2, and then places 5 and 6. We're really excited about the time that we've had to spend with each of the candidates. It's been really enlightening for me, and I've really enjoyed visiting with each of them. All of them, I can tell you this, all of them care about the city of Denton, and their heart is in the right place. So give it a listen and decide for yourself who you should vote for. Denton's got it all: the food, the music, the art, and of course the people. And behind every corner, there's a story worth sharing. And that's what this podcast is all about. Denton's best, one conversation at a time. I'm Brad, and this is If You Didn't Know, Now You Know. Okay, so welcome back to If You Didn't Know. I'm really excited. It's been a great opportunity to have sat down with all the candidates, or most of the candidates that are running for city council and for the mayor's race here in the city of Denton this year. It's been really, really encouraging to see how much each of them care about Denton and, their vision for Denton. And so it is a big election. Filling four places on council and electing a new mayor is a big decision and a lot of, going to have a large impact on what's going on in the city of Denton for years to come. So what we're going to do is lump the candidates for each particular race together and just kind of run exactly what they said, no editing on any of those. And so we'll run it that way. We'll start with the mayor. So first off here, running for mayor, we've got Shannon Childs, Kris Watts, Brian Beck, and Angela Brewer. Unfortunately, Shannon was not able to sit down and visit. I know she wanted to, so sorry that we missed her. But first, let's hear from our candidates for mayor. My next guest is Kris Watts, former city council, former mayor of the city of Denton. Welcome, Kris.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. Thanks for taking the time. Well, I want to first give you an opportunity to just kind of introduce yourself. A lot of people probably know you, but tell us about yourself.
Sure.
How long you've been in Denton and whatnot.
Kris Watts. I've been in Denton most of my life, about 63 years. Moved here from Arkansas when I was 1 with my family, so went to Denton High, graduated in 1979, went to Strickland Junior High at the time. It's Strickland Middle School now. Right. I graduated from North Texas with a computer science degree, bachelor's in computer science, and went on to get a master's degree in counseling education and student services, and then went on to law school in my late 30s and graduated from law school. Practiced a few years, had a small real estate business for that entire time. Started community service. I don't know if you remember this, Brad, but when the city at one point wanted to roll out a new property maintenance code many years ago, and it got really crazy. Yeah. And I remember thinking, I can probably help with that. And so that's what really spurred me to run for District 4 representative, and got on the council and was appointed as the chair for that property maintenance committee. And over 2 years, we had a lot of public meetings, had a citizens committee for that particular committee, and we're able to really hash it out and create something I think that's been sustainable with a few tweaks over in there. So I've really enjoyed the time that I've served the community as council. I was mayor from 2014 to 2020. And during that time, we really made some good changes. We lowered the tax rate by 10 cents. We started the conversation on the unsheltered, which culminated in the Community Resource Center out on Loop 288. So really just have lived here, have invested my life here, my time, grew up in a challenging environment as a kid, but the city has certainly provided me the foundation, really the people. That's really what's important, is the people of the city have really provided me a foundation to, build upon that and try to give back in my community service.
Yeah. Well, thanks. We do appreciate all your service, and I've been saying this to all the candidates. I just compliment all of you and give you credit for putting your kind of sticking your neck out there and being willing to run. I know it comes with some some fire sometimes, but appreciate
Little
you.
heat, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate what you do. Well, so our couple of questions that we're asking everybody. First, what do you love about Denton?
Gosh, I think what's not to love about Denton, I think for me personally, it's really been the people. Because over the years I've been here in this town as a young man, as a young boy even, the support and the opportunities to improve myself, the opportunities to grow and to thrive have been numerous. And so I've seen directly as an elected official when there's been things happen in this community, whether they be natural disasters such as a couple of the tornadoes we had, or things such as that when the community has really come together. I mean, I remember one particular one is, I think it was an F1 or something tornado over off of Sherman Drive over in that area. And as I went over there to inspect it, you could just see the caravan of people from around the city with chainsaws, with gloves, with shovels, with pickups that came and just to the neighborhood to help to see what they can. So I think it's the creativity. I think it's the innovation. I think someone asked me during this campaign, what are the arts and culture to Denton? How important is that? And I've answered it the same way every time. That's really the heart of the community.
Right.
I mean, when I look at it comparative to like the body, you have your physical body, but then you have the spirit and the soul of who you are.
Right.
To me, that's what makes Denton. If not, then if we don't have that, then we're just kind of like everybody else. So it's really the people. It's the universities who really inject, fresh energy, youthful energy, new ideas, new creativity, expansion of thought. And so those are some of the things that I believe. And there's some things that we could do better, I think, for our people, for our community. Economic development. We could certainly try to provide better opportunities for people to have employment opportunities that really allow them to thrive instead of just survive. But overall, it's a great community to live in, and it's very diverse. It's you've got a lot of diversity of thought, of people, which sometimes can create some tension. But that's okay, because I really believe that it's in sometimes disagreements that we really can craft the best solution, because very seldom is one way the only right way.
Right.
It's a conglomeration of different perspectives, different ideas, because I see the world one way, somebody else sees the world a different way, and that doesn't mean either one of us are right or wrong, but how can we come together to find how can we best help one another to maximize our opportunity?
Yeah, love it. All right, so what's your big vision or idea for Denton, especially if you're elected as mayor?
Sure. Honestly, I mean, just to be consistent on the campaign, my first vision is to restore some culture to the council that is one of efficiency, that is one of we working together. Doesn't mean we always have to agree.
Right.
But it means that we're working together, we're not working against each other, and we're primarily working towards how do we make the best decision for the community. I think before we can really do anything else, and I know people talk about fresh visions and things such as that, but right now we have to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're all rowing in the same direction. That doesn't mean we're agreeing, but it means that we have the same common goal in mind. So towards that end, it's to do that first.
Okay.
Make sure we focus on core services. I think that's been neglected because there's been so much dysfunction and dissension. But the two big ideas that I put out on the table, actually three, I think, is number one, with Novartis coming to Denton, which is a major global biomedical pharmaceutical manufacturing company.
Yeah.
I believe I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
We've got some raw land over there.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a great opportunity to really focus on how can we create a biomedical campus with opportunities for companies who maybe supplement that manufacturing facility, or others who are drawn to that area because there's a synergy there.
Right.
And that would be wonderful, because those jobs, number one, are good paying jobs. They're executive type jobs. They're high skilled jobs. And that's something that I think that we need. And plus, it could really put us on the map as far as this is an opportunity that we have to really move Denton in a way that we've never had an opportunity to. And that's another good thing about Denton, is sometimes what people think is sort of a liability is really an asset and a diamond in the rough, because that building that they bought sat out there for years, decades, and had some radioactive, equipment in there and so forth, but yet it was just exactly what they needed in order to come to Denton. So I think we really have a good opportunity that we need to really capitalize on that. The second one is there's a new, I'm on the board of directors for Serve Denton. And Serve Denton was able to really improve their facility, do their project out there on Loop 88 with the help of what they call new market tax credits. And that's funding that's provided by the federal government for, areas that they label as, needing improvement and things such as that.
Right.
And really half of Denton almost is within that kind of area. And that provides an opportunity both for public projects, but also private projects where they can utilize new market tax credits. And in the end, if you comply with all the metrics that you have to do, then there is some forgiveness of some of the debt at the end of the process. It's very creative. It's very technical, and it can be, it takes a process to really understand
to jump through,
Yes, but I think those are the kind of creative things that we need to start doing as a city in order to maximize our opportunity to provide the quality of life for the citizens that we want. Actually on my Facebook page, Kris Watts Denton, I've got a 14-point, I don't know if I'd call it a plan, but it's 14 things that I've said specifically that I will pursue as mayor with the council. And one of those is a multimedia kind of facility that could really support the burgeoning film industry here, podcasts, just anything that we can think of, whether it be a public-private partnership or an incentive-based opportunity for some private development. Those, I think Denton's ripe for that. We've got the University of North Texas, who has a big film school, and you see there's been professional filming here in our city for some of the most watched series on television. So we can think big. We can begin to think big, but I have to stress, before you can do that, you've got to have a firm foundation to stand on. And I think we have to get our budget in line. Last year was challenging. With a $14 million projected budget shortfall. And there were staff cuts. There were cuts to some of the most iconic events in our city. We've got to relook at all of that, because we have great opportunity here. And when we build on that foundation, we want to make sure that it's solid and that we can do whatever we want to do with that. So I think Denton's outlook is good. We've got to just get back to business. We've got to return to core services and ensure that we're working all together to make the best decisions that we can for all of our citizens.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Kris. Well, I'll just give you an opportunity to wrap up. Anything else that you'd like to say, or kind of, those that are listening and thinking about who they should vote for as mayor? Anything else in final thoughts?
I would just encourage everyone to look at all the campaign material, the websites, because really what's happening is you're hiring someone. Make sure that you have an understanding of what, quote unquote, their resume, what it is that they've done, what it is that they've stood for, and what's the task at hand, and take a look at that. I would, if they can do that, I respect and trust the process, as I've said all throughout when I was mayor before. I trust the process. If people will educate themselves and ensure that, okay, this is the person that I want to vote for, take a look at everything. I would hopefully just encourage people to not have necessarily the outside influences of all the political noise in the community, but and the truth is, I truly believe everybody that's running wants the best for Denton.
They care,
Yeah, they care. So it's not a matter of some person's not caring or they have some certain agenda. It's just a matter of who is the best to do the task at hand today. And when the voters decide, then that's the direction you'll go. But I'm excited. I'm excited for Denton. We've got some great opportunity here, and I hope that I can be a part of it. And people can go to kriswattsdenton.com to look at my track record, and go to Kris Watts Denton on Facebook to look at my 14-point plan. Specifically what I want to propose if I get elected. Yep.
Very good. Kris, thanks for your time today.
Thank you for the
Appreciate it.
opportunity. Appreciate that. And thank you, and appreciate you doing this for the community.
Absolutely. If you didn't know Kris Watts before today, now you do. Dr. Brian Beck, welcome to the studio. Glad to have you here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so running for the mayor of Denton.
I know, right?
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a lot.
Yeah, I bet. Well, tell us about yourself.
Well, I came here in 2007, so not quite 20 years ago, and I came to be a professor in biology at TW.
Okay.
When I was there, I taught everything from anatomy and physiology to intro biology. I taught a class on aging. But I was there primarily to do my specialty, which is bioinformatics and computational biology. And that's my background. I do computer modeling of the way protein interactions happen. So if you think about the proteins you eat, they're all the machinery and structure in your cell. And so how do they stick together and like Legos, and how do they do their job? And so that's what I used to model. And I was there until 2015. And started a bunch of programs, taught a bunch of really great students, had a number of PhD students come out of that program. Mm-hmm. And then in 2015, I took an opportunity to go to UT Austin and work in the Texas Advanced Computing Center. And at UT Austin, I was the liaison for all of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So I had offices at UT Dallas, UT Southwestern, UT Arlington, UT Tyler. No, I didn't have one at Tyler, but I used to drive out there. I coordinated with UNT, just pretty much everybody in the Metroplex.
You established UT Denton, right?
It's basically because I was going to all these places. UT finally got tired of giving me miles between all the different UTs, so it said, we're going to locate you at your house. And we started jokingly calling my house UT Denton. And so that was the office in my back room. Cool. And then, so I would go there, and I would also liaise all over the country for their high performance computing and their cloud computing. And as I was telling you earlier, one of the things I used to do was, because I was a professor in biology and biochemistry, biophysics, I had a lot of areas. I talked to English majors, archaeologists, philosophy, people studying bird migration or communication or anything. It didn't matter. Political science, whatever their job was, engineering, whatever they wanted to do, they spoke professor nerd, and I spoke professor nerd. And I also spoke computer and IT computational nerd, and sometimes those are really different languages. And my job was to help them get on and stop using cell phones and Excel spreadsheets and get on to modern computing resources so they could tackle really big fundamental problems and really address the fundamentals of society and really big things that needed lots of data, lots of understanding, and to throw a lot of tools at it. And I helped them on board all over the country. And I did that until 2024. And then I'd already been on council at that time because I started in 2021. And I found that I really had to make a decision because I was working a 60-hour week job for the people of Denton in some weeks. Most weeks it wasn't quite that bad, but some weeks it was really bad. And then, not bad, but a lot. And then some weeks it was... For UT, it was 60 hours, and 120 hours is too much to ask out of someone.
That's a lot.
So I decided to retire early and focus just on the citizens of Denton.
Wow. Okay. Well, I do want to commend you for that and just appreciate, I told you earlier when we started visiting that I do appreciate your service and the time you've already given and your desire to give back to Denton. I know you care a lot about Denton. So
I appreciate that. I've been here, raised my family here. Denton has affected my entire existence and the trajectory that my family and I have been on.
Yeah. Well, let's start with a couple of the questions then. Really, I only have a few for you. So what do you love about Denton?
It is... I've lived in many college towns. So it isn't just that it's a college town, because there's always creatives. There's always people in college towns that, are highly engaged. So that's true all across the country. But there was sort of a, I don't know, it's hard to describe. There was a magic connectivity, and maybe it's because it's so arts and culture focused, with our really strong jazz program, our really strong art program, but we're also really great in nursing, and we're really great in public administration. We're really great in the environment. And I realized one of the things that makes Denton isn't just having a creative class, but having a creative class that wants to engage with others, that wants to share with others, that wants to educate others, that wants to give of themselves to others. So it was this combination of service and creativity up and down the spectrum. And like I just said, it changed the trajectory of my kid's life. We got him involved in all these arts programs, and my wife and I are scientists. I'm a biochemist. She's an archaeologist, and we didn't raise scientists. They ended up as a music ed major and a visual arts major. Okay. Journalism. And so we raised two artists, and that's absolutely the impact of Denton changing who my family is.
I love it. Very cool. Well, so what's your big idea or vision for Denton? I know you've been on council for years, so you've already made an impact. But what if you're elected mayor? What's your big idea?
One of the things that I don't know how we got there, but we just talked about how it's a college town, but it's a special college town with lots of engagement. People, they come to UNT, they come to TW, they come to NCTC, they go away, they come back. They keep coming back here because of that vibe that we just talked about. My big idea is I've noticed that they go away. That was part of what I just said. Yeah. They go away. Sometimes they come back, and often they come back, but we really need to take a page from the offices of career development at UNT and TW and NCTC, the offices of tech transfer, where when a professor comes up with a work of art or a new book or a cancer treatment or a new battery, they go to their office of tech transfer and they start shopping that intellectual property around. And so those two offices are already sitting there ready to go, designed to make sure that the great creative spirit gets out to the rest of the United States. Right. We need an opportunity here. And whether that's at the city, where we have an ombudsman, a sort of campus champion, a career champion, an intellectual property champion in the economic development department, or perhaps it's also an interface with the chamber. But there's an opportunity to put a leg of the stool that I think has been missing, and the stool's toppled over this whole time. For 100 years, you've not really seen careers start and make and blossom out of Denton. And it doesn't mean people don't stay here and start businesses, but like we need to take what's that unique perspective and expand it. It led on its own to things like Panhandle Studios, and it led on its own to Artist Enclave and CoLab and things like that. Right. But can we be intentional about it and not accidental? Can we make it happen and expand out? So my big idea is a really kind of a small idea, something we've already been doing, but institutionalize it. Okay. And one path forward, I think, to making that happen, and we were just at a chamber event. Yeah. We were just at a chamber event, and where we had all these creatives on stage talking about the economic driving engine that is our creative class here in Denton, especially here in downtown. Right. And rubber gloves just down the street. And so one of the things that it became really fundamentally clear for years now, but they crystallized it at that meeting, was this idea of having that economic development be infrastructure. Mm-hmm. If you think about what makes a business successful, having streets makes it successful, having utilities makes it successful, having access to water makes it successful, and they're able to create a business because they have that fertile bed to grow from. For the arts and community, there's not necessarily that fundamental stream of funding and engagement. So in addition to these ombudsmen that I'm talking about, these champions, I think we need to do, a few years ago, using money from a number of sources, franchise fees and ROI from various utilities, we were able to fund the Catalyst Fund and focus on gap funding for small projects. In fact, the Fine Arts Theater I think benefited from the gap funding. Thank you. And so that's, I think the Fine Arts, I segued to that on purpose because I think the Fine Arts Theater is an example of what Denton can do with intentionality. We can take something that's hard. It's a heavy lift, but it's special, and it has so many ancillary downstream impacts. You're going to affect the restaurateurs, the hospitality, the hotels, the creative class, the journalism class, everything at Fine Arts is going to have such a wide ripple that instead of doing it by accident with you and your group, not by accident, you did it with intentionality, but the city can provide that intellectual capacity that and I think the way to do it is to take that Catalyst Fund and dedicate at least 50% of it to arts and culture projects.
Okay.
So that if you want, I mean, like, yes, we can try to fund other projects as well, but we're an arts and culture town. Let's work on making sure that there's a steady revenue stream that's not just hot taxes, because those ebb and flow.
Right.
And let's make it a steady stream of funding for the arts community.
Okay. I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I want to just give you kind of as an opportunity to close out, just any other thoughts you want to share with those that might be listening and deciding on who to vote for.
No, I appreciate that. Like we've said, I'm Brian Beck, and I encourage folks to go to beckfordenton.com and check me out, or you can go Brian Beck for Denton on Facebook. And one of the things that I said in our conversation, that I had many opportunities to leave, and what kept coming me back is the way that Denton had it hooks in me, and then the way I tried to give back. So whether I'm fighting for libraries, whether I'm trying to get a state park out in Hartley Field, whether I've been fighting for communities, I really think that there needs to be a voice that says, I'm going to fight for the small businesses, I'm going to fight for the communities, I'm going to fight for the people that are here. And we don't, I don't have any problem with Taco Bells, but we don't need a Taco Bell in every corner. We don't need a big box all over the place. Those are going to fund themselves. What we need is that intentionality. So it has been my desire to fight for those sorts of things that make us resilient. So things like energy, been fighting for solar power and to support things like, that will take us into the 21st century in terms of our power and resilience, so we never have an episode like, Winter Storm Uri and Denton again. Right. Those kinds of things are really what I've been spending my entire career digging in, doing my homework, showing up. This has been what's important to me, and giving back to the community that has had such a dramatic impact on my life.
Very good. Well, thanks for your service, and thanks for running and just being a part of it.
That. Thank you.
If you didn't know Dr. Beck before today, now you do. Okay, Angela Brewer, welcome to the studio. So glad to have you here.
I am so excited to be here in your super cool space. UNT repped, got TWU repped. It's awesome.
We love our Denton stuff for
Heck
sure.
Yeah.
Well, glad to have you. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to say this. Everybody that's listening is going to hear this multiple times, but I really do appreciate you running and just putting yourself out there. We need more people to say, you know what, let me see where I can lift and help. So I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, thanks. I am so glad to be in it. Just to tell you a little bit about myself and why I jumped into this race for mayor. I'm a Denton girl. I grew up here. We actually didn't move here until I was 11, but I lived in 8 different cities before that. So by 11 years old, I had lived in 8 places, and we finally settled down in Denton, and I feel really fortunate all of the time that this is where my parents finally decided to really plant some roots, because I really think Denton, Texas built the real core of who I am and how I see and understand the world. Yeah. Mostly through the idea that, community together can solve any problems we face. That when we see something that isn't right, that's kind of off track, going wrong, or we see neighbors who aren't being served well or aren't succeeding the way they could, then it's our job to come together and fix that, and that we are very capable of that in this community. So that's what I learned growing up in Denton. It's why I decided to run for mayor now, because I really want to get our city back into that kind of neighborliness and that kind of community spirit. Okay, love it. Well, thank you for introducing yourself and sharing that. So really in today's format, I want to give every candidate an opportunity to answer two pretty simple questions. Maybe they're not simple, but they're short and sweet. First, what do you love most about Denton? Yeah, man, this town is so in my heart. It's almost one of the hardest questions I have to answer during this campaign. It's like, what do you love most? It's like, well, there's a really long list. Give us a couple if you want. But I'm going to come back always to the people here. Yeah. that the people of Denton is what makes our city what it is. It makes it the place that is so creative and cool. I'm not a super talented person when it comes to music or art, but I'm so excited to be surrounded by neighbors who are good at it and who want to share that with us. And so I can go out any weekend, any day really of the week and find creators out there who are sharing their love and their passion and their gift with us. I love that. I love all the amazing restaurateurs in our community, all the great chefs and cooks we have. We've got amazing food trucks. We've got amazing restaurants. We've got some of the best tacos I've ever eaten in my life right here in Denton, Texas. And so I really love the people who bring that to life. I love how great, I mean, we have amazing folks in our service industry and in retail work in Denton that they're really kind of the heartbeat of the town, and they're what keeps us chugging along and creates this community where we can be together and have this great entertainment space and community space. And I just love a town that celebrates that likes coming together for a good festival, that likes coming together to be super weird and Halloween town, and that is always excited to come and sing Christmas carols together when we get the tree lit every December. So it's really the people of Denton that I love the most.
Okay, great. Well, the next question is, what's your big idea or vision for Denton? So should you get elected as mayor, or what's the big idea?
So this is my favorite question.
Okay.
I love this because the daydreaming about our future is what is inspiring to me. It's what keeps my fuel tank full and keeps me chugging along and going, is really daydreaming about what we can be. Denton's a great town. It's been a great town for a long time, but we are experiencing a lot of change right now, and we are experiencing a lot of growth. So it's important to me that as that growth happens, I mean, obviously it's going to happen. We can't stop it. I don't think we should stop it. I don't want to stop it. What I do want to do is be intentional about how that growth happens. So I want to be a mayor who leads that growth in a way that keeps our spirit and our culture intact. And that takes intentionality and planning and lots and lots and lots of conversation. So my vision for how I hope it's going to look as we get bigger and bigger and bigger is more neighborhood-centric kind of Denton. So where we have we're on the edge of the John B. Denton neighborhood right now, kind of what I call Heart of Denton or Old Denton. And so that neighborhood community actually has an amazing neighborhood association. They do really cool work with community building within their neighborhood. They do parties, they do street parties. They have gotten a park set up for their neighborhood, not waiting for the city to take care of that, like as a neighborhood getting together to create that space for them to come together. North Lakes neighborhood does a similar thing. The Southridge neighborhood does a similar thing. We have a few neighborhoods in our town that are doing just bang-up job creating neighborhood spirit. I would like to see that spread across our community. So that's kind of my vision for 10, 15 years down the road, particularly because we are growing and we're adding more people in. It's great for neighbors to reach out to one another in that growth, and it's almost like taking people under your wing, right? So as your new neighbor moves in, you kind of just scoop them into the neighborhood and make them a part of our culture and be very intentional about inviting people to be a part of who we are. That's how we save Denton. That's how we don't become a cookie cutter suburb like so many of our neighbors to the east have become, where you leave Frisco into Prosper into Saline and you can't even tell that you've changed towns. Denton doesn't want that. Denton doesn't have to have that. But it does take planning. It takes a lot of communication, and it takes community building. So that's what I want to see happen. I even have this, maybe silly, but I still love it, so I'm going to lean in on it, this sort of daydream about like annual field day where every neighborhood puts together a field day team and we come out and we have like tug of war. And like you're repping your neighborhood in a 3-legged race.
That'd be fun.
How fun would that be, right? Go out to some of our awesome parks and celebrate that together.
Well, I definitely expect that to happen if you win.
Absolutely. We're putting that like priority one.
That's a great idea.
I mean, after we balance the budget, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, let's do that. Sure. Well, great, Angela. Thank you for sitting down. I guess I just give you one more minute of platform for anything you might want to say to the listeners, those that are
absolutely. Well, I appreciate you opening your podcast up to local politics, to local government, because we need to do a good job putting our civic life connected to our business life, connected to our social life in our community. We have. It's kind of a problem in not just in Denton, it's in most communities where people disengage from the municipal politics. So they're just not paying a lot of attention to who's running for mayor or city council or school board. And the thing is, those are actually some of the offices that we elect that are probably most important in the decisions that affect your day-to-day living.
I agree.
So we need to, it's great. You should vote for president every time that's on the ballot. You should really think about who's running for the U.S. Senate. Those are great things. They are important things. But if you think about how your life is affected every day, like you get up, you turn on your water and your lights, and it all comes on, and the water's clean. Actually, Denton water's not just clean. It's like some of the best in the state. Yeah. It's fantastic. That all of that is happening because of your city government. So make sure that you're engaging in that. And I appreciate you opening your platform up to highlight that need for our engagement and our attention to this race for mayor. We've got a lot of change coming up in 2026. We're going to have a lot of new members of the council. Yeah. Our city manager just retired, and so we'll be hiring a new city manager soon. We're with an interim police chief right now, so we'll be hiring a new police chief soon. So there's a lot of change coming for Denton this year, which I think is just such an exciting opportunity for us. So thanks for giving us a place to spread the message and get people to tune into all of the opportunity we have to grow Denton the way we want to.
You bet. Well, it's been great visiting with you, and again, appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
If you didn't know Angela Brewer, now you do. And next, we will hear the candidates for District 1. We have Michael Herron, Jordan Villarreal, and Kris Cox running for that position. So let's give a listen to them. All right, next up, I'm sitting down with Michael Herron, who's running for City Council District 1. Michael, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate you all inviting me.
Well, we appreciate you jumping in and taking the time. I know you've had a busy tax season that's kind of wrapped up, but I certainly understand that the campaign is keeping you busy as well.
All of it. It is. I have a busy life that's in front of me, and I keep asking myself, how am I doing it? But I am doing it.
You're doing it. Well, we're glad you're doing it. We appreciate your care and concern for the city of Denton and the people here. So thanks for putting yourself out there. Well, I want to first give you an opportunity to just kind of introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Michael Herron. I am running for City Council District 1, and so I'm excited about the opportunity to run. I am a longtime Dentonite. I've been in Denton all my life, I tell people. My family came here when I was 2. Okay. And so growing up here, all my schooling has been here. I like to give all the shout outs to the schools that have been here. Newton Razor was my elementary school. Strickland was my middle school, and Denton High School was the high school that I graduated from. So my family, we grew up here. Many of us are still around in the area or somewhere close to the area. So just excited to be here, excited to be running, excited to have this opportunity in front of us and just talk about things that are important.
So you also work as a pastor as well, right?
Yes. I founded a Purpose Church of Denton in 2013. So I've been serving here in the city of Denton as a pastor. I also have my own tax company. Rhema Tax Services is the name of the tax company. So as you can tell, this season has been pretty full. I've been working taxes while I'm campaigning at the same time.
It's been a lot, I'm sure. Well, I just got those couple of questions that I think I've prepped you for. But first of all, what do you love most about Denton, Michael?
So growing up here, I think this is I call it the mighty city of Denton is what I call it when I'm at my church. I'll say we're the mighty city of Denton because it has grown. When you grow up here, Denton has its own nature. It has its own culture about itself. And so I love that about Denton. I love the people that are here. I enjoy the different things that you can get involved in here. Love the stuff that we do with the arts. You know, we have a lot of arts. I love going to the Arts and Jazz Festival, and we also have a blues festival. It's just good. Those are kind of like homecoming. You go to those and you see people who you grew up with, and you get to catch up on who's who and what's going on. So I just enjoy that. And being in this race, this campaign, I have seen Denton with different eyes. Because growing up here, there's certain things that you just get accustomed to doing and doing those things only. But now that I'm looking at it with different eyes, I like what I see and what's being opened up to them. I like the citizens. Cool. I like the people I'm meeting. I like the differences in the businesses that are here. So it's a lot about Denton that I love.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Appreciate you sharing that. Mm-hmm. What's your big idea or vision for Denton, especially if you get elected here?
So there's a lot of things. Economic development is a great platform that I am really strongly pushing. Yeah. And that's because in the type of work that I do, I felt like I have always had to travel outside of Denton to do that type of work. And I've asked the question, how come we don't have higher paying jobs here? There's a concern about affordability. You know, that the rising cost of housing prices continues to rise and go up. And so my counter, if you will, and I don't know if counter is the right choice of words, but my proposed solution is let's pay people more. How do you pay people more? By attracting a business that will come into the city and pay people at a higher wage, and they stay here within the city. Hire people that are here, pay them a higher salary, even, 6 figures. If you can get people that you can pay them 6 figures. I think Denton is very industrial in a lot of ways. We have a lot of companies that are out there in the Airport Road area, and so those are more blue-collar jobs. But what about getting white-collar jobs? What about bringing headquarters that will bring white-collar jobs in, where we hire senior executives? That's who I've worked with in the past for many years. A lot of my corporate work life has been with senior executives, and so why can't we establish that here? So let's attract some businesses that will cause that to happen within this city.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's.
Well, so just to kind of close up here, if somebody's listening and still deciding who to vote for there in District 1, what would you tell them? Why should someone vote for Michael?
Well, I appreciate that question, Brad, and thank you again for having me come out and just speak a little bit. These are getting more and more comfortable as I do it. But why should you vote for Michael Herron? One, you're going to get a genuine person. Who you see is who you get. I'm very open to working with anyone and accomplishing the task that we have in front of us. I believe in collaboration. I think we should work well together. We should listen to our people. We should listen to the people who we're serving, and we should provide for them what's best for them. You have someone who grew up here. You have someone who knows this city. You have someone whose family has been raised in this city. And so, in continuing to raise my family in the city, which my kids are grown now, so they're doing their thing. Yeah. But you have someone who's from here and understands the way the city thinks, and has a desire to make things better for the citizens as we continue to grow. Growth is happening. Yeah, we're not going to run away from it. People are coming here, so let's work through the growth. Let's provide a common sense approach to handling the city, and then you have someone with a pastor's heart. Yeah. And what that says is, I care about people. And so that's what you're getting from me. Someone who genuinely cares, and what you see is what you get. And I will call you back and text you back. You may miss me one day, but I will definitely get back in touch with you.
Yeah. Love it. Well, thanks for sharing that. Again, really appreciate you taking the time to come sit down. I know everything's been busy, and just for putting yourself out there to run.
Thank you, Brad. I really appreciate it again.
Absolutely. If you didn't know Michael Herron before today, now you do. All right, I'd like to welcome my next guest, Jordan Villarreal, running for City Council District 1. Jordan, welcome to the podcast.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You bet. Really appreciate you taking the time, and really, just more than anything, appreciate you putting yourself out there and running for this office, and just how much you care about Denton.
It's been a lot of fun.
I bet. And busy, right?
Busy.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been around Denton, and just whatever else you want to say about yourself here.
Sure. My name is Jordan Villarreal. I'm running for Denton City Council District 1. This is a special election to fill the unexpired term. Councilwoman Vicki Bird is running for school board for the open seat, so it created a vacancy. Okay. So this is a 1-year special term, and we're trying to make sure that we have someone in there who has the experience to hit the ground running. With the correct priorities for our district. So I've served as a planning and zoning commissioner for 4 years, including a term as vice chair, where I made sure that we included our neighborhoods in the planning process, made sure we pushed back against gentrification and overdevelopment, especially in the southeast Denton area, the historic neighborhoods of historically black and brown neighborhoods of Southeast Denton. Wanted to make sure they had their voice included in that process.
Yeah.
Most recently served as the chief of staff in the Texas legislature for one of the most bipartisan members of the Texas House of Representatives, where he focused on affordability concerns, pushing back against gerrymandering, and just ensuring that we had, push for lower taxes for homeowners as well.
Cool.
My goal is to make sure that we do have someone level-headed who can hit the ground running on day one. My focus areas include public safety, making sure we fully fund our public safety personnel here in the city of Denton, which is why I've been endorsed by the Denton Firefighters Association in this race. Want to make sure we have someone focused on smart growth, not anti-development, but not overtly pro-development. We want someone who will include the neighborhoods in that process, make sure folks have a voice in what's coming into their community, and making sure that we're actually building the missing middle housing stock that we don't have currently, right? We want to allow the folks graduating from UNT and TWU to be able to purchase their starter home right here in the city of Denton. And right now, all we're building are luxury apartments or these large lot size, $500,000 to $1 million homes that people can't afford to be their starter home.
Right.
So just trying to make sure we're focusing on that middle area, allowing folks to stay here if they so choose, so they can start their business here. And then third, of course, is environmental sustainability concerns. Want to make sure that we're focusing on keeping Denton a green and vibrant place. A lot of folks love our nature, the green thumb, of Denton, and just trying to keep that in mind as we make these decisions. And then finally, infrastructure repair is vitally important, especially in District 1. Focusing on, smart road and street repair that doesn't, inhibit folks from getting to work on time and gets the job done both quickly and efficiently, so that we don't have to come back and patch up those potholes again, 6 months later.
Yeah.
And of course, sidewalk connectivity has always been a big issue in District 1. So that's why I decided to run. I have the experience to be able to actually get stuff done for our community, for District 1 residents. And of course, I have, I believe the priorities that align with the vast majority of our district. Just trying to get back to those bread and butter kitchen table issues, making sure that we're building more consensus on council, just doing away with all the petty infighting that a lot of folks have been hearing about.
Yeah.
And I think whomever's mayor, I think I'm able to work with them pretty well. I have a good relationship with all of them, I believe. And again, my goal is making sure that District 1 feels heard and represented and responded to on the city council.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing all that, and we'll give you a little more opportunity to talk about some of the things you're focused on. But I want to talk first about what you love about Denton.
So, Denton is a welcoming community for anyone who comes here, right? I think the fact that so many people fall in love when they come to UNT or TWU is a testament to how, just opening and welcoming our town is, right? From its live music scene to the arts and culture, to its environment, and the fact that so many people are politically engaged here, I think, is a positive sign, right?
Yeah.
I was asked that question on in a different interview setting a couple weeks back. Is it a good thing or bad thing that so many folks are politically conscious here in the city of Denton? I think it's a great thing.
Sure.
I think it's phenomenal that we have folks who are willing to be engaged in local politics, and other cities are struggling to hit 3-4% turnout. We routinely get about 8 to 10% turnout, which isn't great.
Yeah.
We want to improve that, but it's a lot better than what we see in other municipalities and cities across DFW. So really, it's the engagement, it's the natural beauty, and it's the live culture and arts that really attracted me to this city and got me to stay here for the last decade.
Got you to stick around.
That's right.
Cool. Okay. So what's your? You've hit on some of this, but kind of in a nutshell, what's your big idea or vision for Denton, especially should you be elected?
Right. So one of the things I want to accomplish here in the city of Denton is improving our relationship and partnership with the two world-class universities, UNT and TWU.
Yeah.
In the state legislature, I got to work pretty closely with the city of Richardson, which my representative represented, and the fact that they've been able to work so closely with UTD to keep talent there, to have a pipeline directly from the university to the city, right? With good paying jobs available, with public transit that allows them to get to work on time. We are, I think, doing a disservice to our community by not partnering more closely with our two universities and having an incubation program for folks who do want to start their small business right here in the city of Denton, or folks who do want to find good careers here in the city of Denton. So that means focusing more on economic development as well. We're one of the largest cities in DFW without an economic development corporation, an EDC.
Yeah.
We have a partnership, of course, which I think is fantastic,
Right.
but I think we need to go a little further and put more funds behind the EDC so we can attract the right kinds of businesses to the city of Denton, that will provide those good paying, career-long jobs for folks graduating from UNT, TW, NCTC. So economic development, really one of the core things I want to focus on. That's been, a lot of the folks I've been talking to at the doors when I'm knocking have been saying they want better paying jobs here. They don't want to have to commute to Dallas or Fort Worth, but they kind of have to due to the job market.
Cool. I like that vision, yeah. Well, great. Well, I guess I want to just give you any kind of, an opportunity to kind of say anything else that you might want to say to those who are trying to decide who to vote for and, in this upcoming election, anything else on your mind?
Well, first off, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to chat today. I really do appreciate it. Again, my name is Jordan Villarreal. You'll find me third on the ballot for District 1, Jordan E. Villarreal on the ballot. You can find out more about my campaign on my website, jordanfordenton.com, jordanfordenton.com. Also on all social media platforms, Jordan FOR Denton. You can find me there. You feel free to connect with me. I give my cell phone out at every meeting I'm at. Feel free to give me a text or call anytime, any place. My number is 817-714-6780. And again, we just really need to make sure that we're putting the right, experienced, sensible choice in the seat. Someone who can get to work on day one, no training wheels necessary, and get to fighting for District 1. And that's why I'm running for this seat. That's why, I've been endorsed by the incumbent city councilwoman, Vicki Bird, because she understands that I'm able to get to work for the community day one.
Great. Jordan, thanks for coming, and I really appreciate the time. Again, everything you're doing to make Denton great. Thanks for your service on P&Z for years as well.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
All right. If you didn't know Jordan Villarreal before now you do. All right. I'd like to welcome my next guest here, Kris Cox. Welcome to the studio, Kris.
Hey, good to be here.
Glad to have you running for District 1 in the City Council, right? Okay. Well, cool. Well, appreciate you, definitely appreciate your interest in running and all that you're out there doing, trying to, improve the city of Denton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really want to help the working class around here.
Cool. Well, why don't you introduce yourself first? Just tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been around Denton.
Well, I'd say I've been here for around 13-ish years.
Yeah.
I was born in Fort Worth, but I spent about a decade in Indiana. Then I came back down here, moved in with my mom when I was around 15. Then went to UNT, got my poli-sci degree.
All right.
Thought I was going to be a lawyer. Didn't end up a lawyer. And I got into childcare after a brief period of independent contracting. Worked with the YMCA, worked with the city of Denton there after school. And I then went into the extended school day, which was the Denton ISD. And then now I work for AlphaBest. I co-founded the Denton Left, which is a socialist and anarchist organization back in 2019. This group mostly focuses on free stores where we would just put basically a table out in a park, and community members would come by, just donate whatever they got, and think of it like a free garage sale. Okay. Sometimes we would hand out canned food, hygiene supplies, clothing, really anything. We got a walker we have not been able to get rid of for a while now. Someone gave us a bowling pin. But
okay.
That's kind of been our bread and butter. We've just been going out there, giving out as much stuff as we can to the people of Denton, whether they are homeless, working class, middle class, whoever wants something.
Cool. Well, great, man. Well, so tell me what you love most about Denton.
I really love its DIY culture. Denton has been a kind of a punk center for a while, especially rubber gloves.
For sure.
But that has seeped into a lot of the way we've kind of disposed of our stuff. We give a lot of our stuff to thrift stores, to Thistle out there on West University. If you are a college student around here, you know that someone is probably throwing away their couch, and it's right next to the dumpster. One time I found a couple of Armadillo Draft House glasses, and they've been pretty good. It's like a little artifact of an old business.
Right.
But this DIY culture leads to a lot of recycling. It makes the free stores possible because there are people that have clothing that they don't want to just get rid of or throw in a landfill. They want to make sure it's taken care of, or they'll chop it up and make patches out of it for their battle jackets, you know?
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that about Denton.
Well, that's cool. I haven't heard that perspective. That's neat, though. I like it. Well, so what's your big idea or vision for Denton, especially if you were to get elected here?
So long-term goal. I would like to see an organized working class, an organized renter class that is able to not just put a check on the powers of bosses and landlords, but also be an advocate for themselves, be able to advocate without me. If I am elected on council, I want to bring back the after-school program that the current council got rid of.
Okay.
That's one. I want to bring mutual aid days. I want to bring these days where we have all these DIY and thrift store sort of cultures together in the parks and rec centers so we can share our resources with each other, especially now that prices are going up. I want a union advisory committee. I want the organized working class to be able to tell the city council, this is what we need, this is what concerns us, do something about it. And finally, I want a municipal housing sort of scheme or project using either community land trusts or public funds to make these places that have been constructed and built by not built by landlords, but built by developers and managed by landlords to then be managed as cooperative housing and lower the property taxes since they're divided up by the community land trust, and have them managed by the people living there. I believe that a person should have at least a democratic say in where they live and a democratic say in where they work.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Appreciate you sharing that. So I guess lastly here, just give you a little open mic. Anything else you want to say to the Denton voters, those that are kind of, deciding where to place their votes, how to cast their votes?
I want to say I'm not a party man. I'm not with the Democrats or the Republicans. Obviously, I lean left. That's what the organization was called.
Denton left, yeah.
But I want to say that I am more of the working class than I am of the political ideologies of the two big boys.
Right.
I want to put out there, I want to see people survive in this city and thrive. I want them to be able to live here comfortably. I want them to have a good job. I want them to be able to have a life beyond what we've been told is possible. There's an old 1968 slogan from the May 68 riots in France. Be reasonable, demand the impossible. And that's what I want. Demand the impossible. And even if you don't get it, you certainly made some progress.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts, your perspective, and jumping on, and most of all, just putting yourself out there, being willing to run and try and do what you can to improve the city of Denton.
Thank you.
All right. If you didn't know Kris Cox before now you do. Okay, the next race, District 2. We have two candidates in that district. We've got Nick Stevens and Robert Archer. Let's see what each of them have to say about what they love about Denton and their vision for Denton. All right, up next, get a chance to visit with Nick Stevens here, running for District 2 City Council. Nick, welcome to the studio.
Thanks so much. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Really appreciate you putting yourself out there and running and all the energy and effort that it takes. I know you've got a full-time job or business, and so this is a lot of work, right?
It is. It's a blast, though.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you doing it. I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself a little bit first.
Yeah. So my name's Nick Stevens. I've lived in Denton for about 21 years now. I was the first full graduating class out of Geyer High School. Then went on to University of North Texas. After that, went to graduate school, went to seminary, getting a degree in classical studies, really focusing on the Greek language. And so my whole goal at that time was to become a priest. I told you before, I had liked, at the time, my wife more than I liked the idea of becoming a priest. And so I just had a change of course. And after that, I wound up starting my own small business. And so it is a surety bond agency, and we provide payments and performance bonds to disadvantaged, minority, and women-owned businesses to help them get jobs for municipalities, for territories, all that kind of stuff. Outside of that, what else is there to know? I'm the co-founder of the JBD College Neighborhood Association, as well as the West Denton Neighborhood Council.
Okay.
And I'm the chair of the Health and Building Standards Commission for the city of Denton. I was, I think, reelected to that 3 times. Really enjoy serving on that board. It's interesting.
Cool.
And so that's all the resume stuff. Outside of that, love drinking wine, love traveling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks for that intro there. So, just kind of asking all the candidates the same couple of questions. First and foremost, Nick, what do you love about Denton?
I think what I love about Denton is our potential. You know, the people here, what I always say are, and I'm biased, and I guess I'd say this, it sounds like a shtick because I'm running for council. I think we're the greatest city in Texas, period. And I think it is because of the people that live here. We are an odd conglomerate of human beings that are all forced to cohabitate with one another.
Yeah.
I said it a few days ago. If you're on the square, you'll see people coming out of church. You'll see a family having a picnic on the courthouse lawn. And then sometimes you're going to see someone walking another person on a leash. I mean, just like the weirdest stuff. And the way I put it is that we are strange, diverse in every sense, politically, spiritually, you know, by race. But time and time again, we come together, we have each other's backs, and we get things done as a community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. So, what's your big idea or vision for Denton, especially if you're to get elected here?
I think one of my big ideas is making Denton or Dentonites fall in love with the city that we've all come to fall in love with.
Okay.
I'm very realistic in the sense of that when I moved here 20 years ago, we've changed a lot. And one of the things that we've lost is some of that assistance in making us such a unique community. And I want people to be able to make more money here and have jobs here. The thing is, though, is that Dentonites have such a huge entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
They don't want to work for anyone else but themselves. And there's a mini economy here that can actually support that. So a specific example that I've had, and how it plays out, I don't know, but this is how I envision it. The Golden Triangle Mall.
Yeah.
I go there, especially this time of year, about 4 times a week, because it's too hot to walk outside.
To walk inside, yeah.
So I do my 1,800 steps per lap, and I see vacant department stores.
Yeah.
I would love to see the city rent one of those out, turn it into a maker's market and food hall.
Oh, okay.
So that people can have a low to no barrier of entry to start their own small business.
Right.
I think you would have people flock to the Golden Triangle Mall. I
Yeah.
think as a result of that, seeing the success in that, you'd have more than just cell phone repair shops opening up.
Right.
You know, and so I'd really like to see some investment to have people start their own small businesses here.
Cool. I like it. Thank you for sharing that. Well, really in closing here, just want to give you an open mic. You know, those that are still deciding who to vote for, especially in your district there, what would you say? Why should they vote for you?
Yeah. So there's a historian currently that's pretty popular by the name of John Meacham. And he has defined the last 10 years of American politics as being in the battle for the soul of America. And I do think right now, even if I wouldn't use directly those terms, that we are in a fight for the soul of Denton, who we want to be. And I'd start off just by saying I resent to a degree that we every year say it's the most important election of our lives, because sometimes it isn't. But this time in Denton, it is the most important election we've had since I've lived here.
Yeah.
Who you elect will impact the next 20 years of Denton, particularly because we have up to 4 new people that are going to be on the dais making decisions for all of us. So specifically when it comes to District 2, what I would just encourage people to think about is that this is an off-cycle election. Mm-hmm. I ran last year because of the community work I've done to bring people together, to show results, understand how to use the levers of government to get things done. I lost, came up short by a few hundred votes, running again, and so this is an unexpired term. There's
Right.
1 year.
Right.
And this is not the time for on-the-job training.
Yeah.
It's not the time to experiment. It's a time to put people in office that are going to really deliver. I really believe that through my government work, I have shown that I'm able to do that. There's no training wheels required.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm ready on day one to get to work to really start delivering results, and I would ask people to consider that as they go to the polls.
Cool. Well, thanks for all your previous service to the city, and again for just putting yourself out there and being willing to run. And I know it's not easy, but I say that I've said this to all the candidates. I just admire and appreciate your willingness to do so, and I know you care about Denton, and it shows.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for jumping on. If you didn't know Nick Stevens before now you do. All right, next I'm sitting down with Robert Archer III, running for District 2 City Council. Robert, welcome to the studio.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Glad
It's
to
good
have
be
you.
here.
I've enjoyed getting to know you here for a minute, and really enjoyed. I know you served in the military. Appreciate your service, and,
thank you.
Excited to get to know you a little bit more and have an opportunity for you to tell the folks at Denton why they should vote for Robert. So why don't you first just introduce yourself?
Yeah, like I said, like you said, right. My name is Robert Archer III. I've lived in Denton since 2012. My wife and young kids at the time moved here, and you know, we've bounced around all throughout Denton, but you know, we've stayed here. It's an awesome place.
Yeah,
So
it is a great place. Well, and you worked for the city of Denton for a while.
Yeah. So I've worked water and wastewater for municipal governments. That's what brought me here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is I worked for the city of Denton from 2012 to 2016. Of course, left the city of Denton and worked for other municipalities to advance my career. Mm-hmm. And now I'm fortunate enough now that you know, I get to travel the entire state of Texas, working for Texas A&M. Teagues.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm kind of an old guy in the industry now, and so I get to teach the next generation of water and wastewater operators throughout the state. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. All right, good. Well, just these couple of questions I have for all the candidates. First, what do you love most about Denton?
So non-political, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not a politician, right? And I really put some thought into this last couple of days, this question, and at least from my experience, this city is full of hope, full of small wins every day. When I sit back and I look and I get to travel, I said my eyes have been open a lot more since I get to travel the state.
Yeah.
And what's fortunate about living here is that I see that it's little wins every day. Somebody gets to experience a little win every day, and people surround those little wins, and that builds a culture, regardless of disagreements or dislikes. Somebody here, if it's a college student, you know, getting a good score, if it's a high school student, you know, getting recognition, playing a game, if it's somebody trying to get out of a lease because they're worried about financial stress, there's somebody there to pick up that lease.
Yeah.
Right? If it's our unhoused community, you know, struggling, they may get lucky and somebody give them a $20 bill, right? Because there is that compassion in our town. So when I really, really sit back and look, it's those little wins that individuals experience that others celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, man, that's to me, that's that's awesome. That's what
That's really cool.
builds this community, makes it different than other places I get to travel, is because there's those different opportunities in our town where people get to experience those small wins.
Cool. I love that. That's awesome. Well, so what's your big idea or vision for Denton, especially if you get elected here?
Well, I mean, so like this seat, right, is 1 year, so it's hard to change the course of everything with a 1 year in this seat. But one thing that I've seen and I've witnessed, right, is the lack of unity amongst our council.
Yeah.
And I will say this from my experience of being the booster president of our local high school, one of our local high school groups, building that unity for something is what I've seen be able to happen with my leadership. So I'm hoping that is something that I can bring to council. Decisions are going to be made on the government level that not everyone's going to agree with at times, but if there could be a unity on the council level, that helps that hope stay alive with our community.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what that's the first step, because there's a lot of little different things.
Yeah, sure.
But 1 year is not going to fix it all.
Yeah.
But what can be fixed in 1 year is that unity amongst council members.
Okay.
That
would be nice.
And like I said, it takes compromise, but it takes listening and talking, and that's, that's a discussion, and it's those small wins that need to be highlighted and celebrated on that council level that helps bring that unity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. Love that vision. Well, I guess here in wrapping up, if folks are listening, they're still trying to decide who to vote for there in District 2, what would you tell them? Why should they vote for Robert?
Give me a shot.
Yeah.
I'm not a politician. I don't really know much about politics. I've jumped in here because I care. Yeah. And there's still hope for our community. So, it's a 1 year term. Let's see what happens in a year.
Okay, cool. Well, man, I do appreciate you taking the time, but also, like you said, it's obvious that you care about Denton, and so we appreciate that. I know you put in a lot of time and money and effort into running, so appreciate your efforts there.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Well, it has been a great visit. Thanks for joining. Well, if you didn't know Robert Archer III before now you do. Okay, and now, so let's move to Place 5. We have 3 candidates for Place 5 as well: George Michael Ferrie, Caleb Meese, and Erica Garland. Caleb was also not able to join me, so don't have anything from him, but we'll hear from George and Erica. Welcome, George Ferrie, to the studio. Glad to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, running for at-large Place 5. That's a mouthful.
It is, yeah. Saying it over and over at doors, imagine.
Yeah. Well, glad to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and visit with me.
Of course. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Yeah, and I mentioned this before we got on air, but I really do appreciate you, just putting yourself out there and being willing to run for office and, just demonstrate that you care. And I know you've got a good heart and wanting to help the city of Denton. So
that's right.
I'm all for that kind of people here. So I want to give you an opportunity to just kind of introduce yourself first. How long you've been in Denton, where you're from originally, and
Sure.
whatever else you want to say about yourself.
Yeah. So my name is George Ferrie. Hello.
Hello.
I've lived here almost 21 years. I moved here from the Houston area to go to school at UNT to study dance performance. And along the way, worked in the service industry, got an opportunity to work my way into ownership into a wine bar downtown.
Cool.
And then closed that during COVID and kind of pivoted and became a social worker. And now I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And I own and operate my own private practice with my business partner, Rachel.
Excellent. Well, very good. It sounds like that business is going well.
It's going very well, yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
very grateful.
Well, good. Well, kind of asking all the candidates a couple of really simple, straightforward questions. I don't know if they're simple, but they're straightforward at least. First, what do you love most about Denton?
That's a great question, and they are straightforward questions, but they're also just such big when you've lived here for 21 years, I spent my entire adulthood here. I moved here when I was 17. And for me, I was immediately reminded of Cameron from Little D TV asked every single city council candidate at council chambers when we did our ballot place drawing, what is one word that I believe you describes Denton?
Yeah.
And I said community.
Yeah.
And I think for me, when I read the question, like, what do you love most about Denton? And I think it's how our community seems to always show up for each other. It's just this very nurturing approach, and thinking about holistically and like human development in my profession, this community provides that opportunity for people to thrive, to really feel embraced, to be celebrated for all of the things they love. We have tons of creatives in this town, right?
Yeah.
We've got tons of small businesses. We just have very passionate, involved people who care genuinely and want each other to do better and do well. And I think for me, that's what I've really held on to, like through the 2021 freeze, people getting together to get water access to folks, during COVID, people going out in droves to support small business when we didn't know how that was going to look or if we'd even make it on the other end. Yeah. It's, the water coolers that Denton Basic Services fills. It's seeing people show up last night at the city council meeting to advocate for Hercules Park and how to make opportunities for it to look better and to help the habitat, even animals, not even humans, right? Like we show up and we mobilize and we care so deeply. And I think that is what has just really kept me in this town and kept me so involved.
Yeah, love it. Well, I couldn't agree more. That's a great reason to love Denton. And it's very true. So, all right. So what's your big idea or vision for Denton, especially should you be elected?
Yeah, this is a great question.
Thank you.
And I will try to be succinct in my answer because, again, it feels like an umbrella. For me, and in the conversations I've had over the last 17 years of all of the different works and pockets of communities that I've worked in and been involved in, I've continued to see this conversation increasingly come up, which is affordability.
Okay.
And for me, affordability is the crisis we're kind of finding ourselves in.
Okay.
You'll hear about the $14.5 million shortfall the city was in last year. You'll hear about prices of housing being out of reach for teachers and healthcare workers and service industry workers. You hear about our utility rates going up. So when we talk about affordability, it kind of is this holistic umbrella. And I think it takes a multi-pronged approach. And for me, it's you need a city council member that understands the levers to pull. Okay. And what I mean by that is I'm the current president of Denton Affordable Housing Corporation, which is a nonprofit development company that owns and operates and manages 96 scatter site units throughout the city, providing housing to families and folks on fixed incomes. And I also am the vice president of the Denton County Homeless Coalition. So when I think about this big picture, like what our economic stability will look like in terms of navigating this crisis, it's one, we need to maybe be very conscious, we need to stop incentivizing developments that are under the guise of affordability, but in fact are not. Okay. Just last year, we could have saved $8 million if we had prioritized different opportunities. Okay. And that's a massive amount of money. I also think that when we talk about permanent supportive housing for our unhoused neighbors, we spend on average $30,000 a year per person per year in ER stays in jail for criminal trespasses, and first responder services. It would cost a third of that, about $10,000 to $12,000 a year per person per year for permanent supportive housing. The $30,000 is all on the taxpayer. The $10,000 to $12,000 is almost all coming from grants and LIHTC funding. None of that is a taxpayer. So we have actionable solutions. We just have to be able to have someone on council who's willing to pull the lever, speak that truth to power, and really make those changes, create those policies. And it's supporting small business too. We've seen over 70, I think, businesses closed since COVID, just in the downtown TERS area. Right. Why don't we have procurement ordinances that embrace small business by saying the city will spend at least 25% of all of its funding in local business to keep that money local in our actual economy. Right. Again, it's an umbrella. Yeah. I realize that I'm going quite a long way about answering it, but my vision is being your council member means I am the person who will pull these levers, who's made these connections across the city and the county, and knows how to make actionable solutions come to fruition.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good vision. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I want to just add one more bonus question that I've kind of decided I'm going to ask everybody as well. It's really just more of a platform, an opportunity for you to, anything else you want to share, let voters know about yourself or kind of your views on things that don't fit right inside those two questions very nicely.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'm a Dentonite. I've lived here over 2 decades. I had the opportunity to marry my husband here. We bought our first home here in 2021. He's a public school teacher, teaches middle school, has been for 17 years. We care deeply about our community and we show up. What does that look like? It looks like, you know, the 12 different boards I've served on and nonprofits I've helped create over the last 17 years. It's having those really intentional, difficult conversations. We're living in a time where people are embarrassed to watch city council meetings and the divisiveness has gotten out of control. And the world feels very heavy right now with what's going on nationally. Yeah. And I think that people need to remember local politics, local government decides so much about your daily life. And it's so important to get out and vote. So I hope that people hear the work, hear the knowledge, hear the experience, and the excitement I have to be a part of helping continue to give back to a community that has given me so much. I'm so grateful. You are welcome to check out georgefordenton.com to learn more about my policies, to get involved. Early voting starts April 20th. I hope to see you at the polls. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, George, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate your time. And again, your efforts to run and everything you do to be involved in the city of Denton. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
If you didn't know George Ferrie, now you do. All right. Well, next I'd like to welcome Erica Garland, who's running for at-large place 5. Erica, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Well, really appreciate you putting yourself out there and running, and I know you love and care about Denton, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Yeah, no, thank you. So again, my name is Erica Garland. I've lived in Denton for about 16 years. I've raised a family here. I'm a mom of 4 boys. Oh boy. So that's not for the faint of heart. I built my career in aviation at the Denton Enterprise Airport, where I worked for about 10 years. I do pilot recruiting, and so I currently work for a major airline. Still doing the pilot recruiting. I absolutely love my job. I've served on our airport advisory board, and I currently serve on our planning and zoning commission. Okay. So, and I also ran for this exact seat about 2 years ago. So,
okay, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. Well, just kind of asking all the candidates the same couple of questions here. So, first and foremost, what do you love about Denton, Erica?
I love that question. So, and it's funny because I do recruiting. I interview people all day long, and a lot of times that's the question I ask them is, "What do you love about?" I'll leave the name of my company out, but what do you love about this? Why do you want to do this? Yeah. And so, Denton is a great city. I chose Denton. Unfortunately, I didn't get to grow up here, but I moved here with the intent of coming to Denton. And when I would recruit pilots to come to Denton, a lot of times they would be like, well, what's it like? What's the city like? I was recruiting pilots from all over the country. Right. And so I would always kind of describe Denton as this quirky little melting pot that, is a college town, and it was full of like art and music. And it wasn't boring. There was always something to do. There was always something going on. We have these great festivals. And we just have this conglomerate of people that are passionate about Denton, love Denton, fight for Denton. And so that's what I love about it, is just the people and the culture. And that's how I would describe it when I was essentially kind of selling Denton to other people. So cool. It's just a cool city with a vibe. I grew up in East Texas in kind of a small town, and so when I came to Denton, I just was like, starstruck by it. I just was like, this is the coolest city. I loved all the music. I loved all the art, and it just felt like a place where everybody could come and just be who they wanted to be.
Love it. Thank you. Well, so what's your big idea or vision for Denton, especially if you're to get elected here?
Yeah, so I also love that question. So the secret's out about Denton, how great we are.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've had this unprecedented amount of growth where people
Yeah.
have just been really, there's been a boom. People have been coming here. And so when that happens, it can kind of change, our economic development and our tax base and kind of what that looks like as far as the citizens and how they're doing. And so there are so many people that are just really, really struggling in Denton, barely able to get by. And that's something that throughout this campaign and the last one that people are kind of expressing to me is that, property taxes are rising. Cost of living, gas, groceries, everything's going up. The only thing that isn't going up is salaries and jobs.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's always, it's a little bit about, I think it's a little bit because we are a college town. There's a lot of like service industry and stuff like that, but we don't have a lot of like careers and livable wages here in Denton. And so we've kind of become this bedroom city where people want to live here and they want to raise their family here. But like myself, I commute an hour to South Dallas every single day.
Yeah.
And so what I would love to see is just stronger economic development that will bring jobs, like higher paying jobs, so that people can afford the rising cost of living that the city really can't control.
Yeah.
We can control some of it, but some of it's just outside of what we can do. And so my big idea is our airport is probably, in my opinion, our most single underutilized economic driver that we have.
Okay.
A lot of people don't even know we have an airport, but we have a really great one. It's double runway. There's so much room for expansion.
Yeah.
The whole west side hasn't been developed yet. And the reason it hasn't been developed is because we don't have a road to access it.
Yeah.
And so to me, those are things that, like, as a city, we need to be planning and going, what kind of tools do we have? What can we use to maybe attract jobs like aircraft manufacturing or aviation logistics? We build 18-wheelers out on Airport Road.
Yeah.
Why can't we build airplanes?
Yeah.
And so what we've done is we've brought in a lot of like flight schools into the airport, which is great. I love flight schools. I worked at one for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think that we need to kind of diversify that a little bit. And, because flight schools attract, it makes our airspace really busy with lots of little airplanes. So when those corporate jets come in to buy jet fuel, which is tens of thousands of dollars into our sales tax base, they won't come into Denton because it's so busy, like a little beehive. So instead they'll go to McKinney or Addison or Alliance, airports like that.
I see.
And it's funny because McKinney's actually has an airline now. They just signed a contract with Avelo Airlines. So they're considered an international airline, which also brings jobs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the direction
that.
I would love to see happen, just to kind of help diversify our portfolio and job opportunities and things like that.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, just want to give you kind of one last opportunity here. If anybody's listening and still on the fence or trying to decide who to vote for, what would you say? Why choose Erica?
That's such a loaded question. It's so hard. I feel like I use the term regular person a lot. I don't really know what that means. It just means I don't have ambition for a career in politics. I am truly only doing this because I feel like we have been so underrepresented by our council for so many years. And I feel like it takes regular working people that aren't kind of plugged into these partisan pockets that are kind of causing so much dysfunction on our council. I think that we need people that have a seat at the table, that have good intentions, and that have struggled themselves. I struggled for years as a single mom. And so to really kind of know what that's like and have that insight and to be the voice for everybody, everyone, not just kind of like special interests and not these partisan initiatives that kind of keep influxing into our council, but really taking care of our neighborhoods and our people and the people that are fighting to keep living here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Erica. We, again, just really appreciate putting yourself out there. I know you've got a lot on your plate, and as all the candidates do as they're running, and election's right around the corner, so it's almost over one way or another, right? Yeah. So, well, if you didn't know Erica Garland before, now you do. And lastly, we will now hear from our solo candidate for place 6, Jill Jester, and hear, although that she doesn't have an opponent, we'll still hear what she loves about Denton and her vision for Denton and why people should feel good about her being on council. All right, up next, sitting down with Jill Jester, running unopposed for City Council at-large place. Welcome, Jill. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure visiting with you a little bit before we sat down, and just really appreciate your service and the time you've already spent on council and your desire to continue there.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bet. Well, first, I want to give you an opportunity. And again, as I said, you are running unopposed, so that's kind of a luxury that none of the other candidates I've sat down with have. But congratulations on that. I guess you'll win, I think.
So from what I was told, at least one person has to bubble in next to me.
Okay.
So hopefully
you can do that yourself,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've got a big decision to make. When
There you go. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself first here.
Oh, well, sure. Well, I'm Jill Jester, and I was born here at Flo Hospital. Went to Frank Borman, and then Congress became Calhoun while I was in junior high, and then the old Denton High School back when we had one high school. So, this is my hometown, and this is where my people are. I kind of have had, I've gone down some different paths, I think like a lot of people do. I studied improvisation and sketch comedy at Second City and Improv Olympic and some other places in Chicago. I've also worked at different law firms, and of course I worked at my dad's law firm growing up. Started out just getting coffee for people and making copies, and then doing filing, and now I work there as a lawyer. So.
There you go. That's great.
But I feel very lucky.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm asking everybody these hard-hitting questions, so I'll ask you the same one here. First of all, Jill, what do you love most about Denton?
Oh, well, I sometimes joke that we're a band of misfits. And that's kind of how I feel, is that Denton is somewhere where everyone is welcome. And this is besides also loving the fact that my history is here, my family's history is here, getting to work with and talk to people that knew my sister Angie, who's passed away, or my father Tom. That is something that really feeds my soul, and I really love getting to kind of keep their memories alive. But what I like about Denton is whatever version of ourselves we are, we have a home here.
Sure.
So whether that's your high school version, whether it's your college age version, or a young professional, or whether it's retirement, and looking at what the activities are at the senior center and enjoying golf or Robeson Ranch. I mean, that's what I love about Denton, is that hopefully we are welcome to everyone, no matter your profession or age. Like I said, I think we've all gone through, everyone's gone through maybe a goth stage or a rocker phase or a electronic music phase or a natural phase or a gardening phase. It doesn't matter.
There's a place for everybody.
Yes. Yeah. And so that is what I've always felt about Denton and love about Denton is that true sense of community and not letting go of it, really, really holding on to each other.
Yeah, I love it. That is great. Well, so you've been in office for a little bit now, a couple years, and what's your big vision for Denton? What's your idea here?
Well, I have a lot of visions for Denton. And some of it has to do with economic development and the way we go about it in this city. After getting to serve on the Economic Development Partnership Board for a number of years, I sure don't work at a big company. I work at a small firm of about 7 people. But being involved in the Chamber of Commerce and with that, I've learned a lot. I've listened and I've learned a lot. And so being a place that it's easy to come and get buildings accomplished as long as they fit Denton's goals and fit in, and being a place of choice, that is something that's very important. As far as a big idea, what I would say is, and what I hear from a lot of people is, they love the downtown area and the community space that it gives people.
Sure.
And I have to agree, whether it comes to Twilight Tunes, Arts and Autos, in the past, Arts and Jazz in the area, and the movies on the lawn. That is where it doesn't matter if you're politically right or left.
Right.
If you're young or old, rich or poor, that's where everyone gets together and just celebrates getting to be alive here in Denton, Texas. So I would like to continue with what the community came together and said, hey, here's what we would love to do.
Okay.
And that includes perhaps a performance space down here where
Yeah.
we've got some empty space, which I think is a great idea for a
Right.
city like Denton. The other thing is, and you probably know this with what you do, is that a lot of the land here has been in the floodplain.
Floodplain, yeah.
And that's been an issue for a long time, that this very much, it's easy to access versus other areas
Right.
in Denton. And it's where a lot of the happening is.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's been in the floodplain.
Yeah.
And some of it has been brought out, but underneath, we have the capability for a river walk. I
Yeah.
mean, if you've seen the plans, we have kind of a river running through us.
Sure we do.
And as we continue to expand and grow, I think having a hub that is the center and the heart of the community is important. And the idea that we could expand that beyond just the absolute square, and I think, and that's what's been happening, is that
Yeah.
we've been kind of pushing out the boundaries
Right.
of the TERS,
The TERS district, yeah.
what people want to invest in as far as seeing some help so that we can maintain some of these historical buildings and put new things in.
Yeah.
But I think something like that would add to our tourism as well as the quality of life for families, college students, et cetera. And,
Cool.
we only have so many ways to pay for things in the city.
Yeah.
And that's sales tax, property tax, and fees. And kind of the best of those for our citizens is the sales tax.
Yeah.
Because they're not necessarily using our libraries and using all of the services. We're not having to pay
Right.
for that, but they come in and spend money. And so with the success that we have had with Embassy Suites and, having a convention center here,
Yeah.
the success and the plans with the North Texas Fair and Rodeo and the
Right.
expansion that's going to be happening there,
Yeah.
I think this is the next step.
Cool.
But I'm just, it's an exciting time to be a Dentonite.
Yeah.
I really believe it. And I still feel the small town feel of walking in somewhere and
Yeah.
recognizing people and seeing someone I went to grade school with or someone I saw in the courthouse. But getting to say hello and visit and catch up, as well as all of the opportunity that there is here economically. So just continuing to try to lift everybody up.
Cool. I love it. Love it. Good stuff. Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity to, I've asked every other candidate kind of, okay, why should someone vote for you? Well, again, there's nobody else to vote for you in case.
Maybe your arm's tired.
No.
You don't want to bubble that in.
But I guess I'll ask it this way for you, Jill. Why,
Yeah.
Why should people feel good about you being on council and kind of representing them at that level?
Well, I really hope that most people do feel good about it.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that my motives are the betterment of our city
Yeah.
and what's in the best interest of what I truly believe is the city. And sometimes that's what, the majority of comments say to do, and sometimes it's not. But I think that's what a leader is making the decisions with the information and input they have that they truly believe is in the best interest of the city.
Yeah.
I'm someone that has not just shown up and raised my hand and run.
Yeah.
I won't kind of go through the list, but some of, kind of the highlights are, I've been involved in everything from the Denton Benefit League and Aerial Club to serving on the Board of Regents at Texas Women's University for 8 years.
Yeah.
I served as the first chair of the Chief of Police Advisory Board. I've been co-chair of a capital campaign to raise money for Health Services in North Texas that gives free or low-cost health care. So what I would say is I've had interests, and I volunteered for the Denton Theater. I mean, just, different types of things. But I'm someone, I think that's part of who I am, and that's part of what my parents and my grandparents have taught me to do is to try to give back. And that's where I find pleasure, is feeling like I'm making a difference. So whether we or disagree, I do believe that people can count on that I'm making the best decision I can, that I'm absolutely doing my homework, that I'm asking questions, even if it's not in public, it's via text or on the phone. Just because it's not in the Friday report doesn't mean I didn't ask questions. And that every decision I make, I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes and hopefully keep learning. but I do it because I love people and I love learning, and I definitely love Denton.
You love Denton. Well, it shows. All of the stuff you've done over the years, and now your service on council, it shows. So thank you again for your service.
Well, thank you for doing this and being someone that cares about what's going on in Denton. And I think this series is pretty great. Like I told you earlier, I listened to one just this weekend, and what a great opportunity it is for Dentonites to learn more about other Dentonites and what's going on here.
Well,
so
appreciate
thank you.
it. You bet. Well, if you didn't know Jill Jester before now you do.
Thanks.
Well, there you have it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and have learned a lot about the candidates that are running for council and the mayoral race. Again, all these folks care. They want to do the best they can, and so I think we've got big decision ahead of us, and hope that each of you kind of through this and the other forums and the different materials that are out there have been able to make an informed decision about who you think would be the right candidates to run the city here for the next several years. And like I said, it is an important decision. I believe it will have long-lasting impacts here in the city of Denton. And so hope you take the time to vote. Encourage everybody to do so that lives in the city. And thanks for joining us again on this episode of If You Didn't Know. Next episode, we'll get back to our kind of the normal way of doing things. Thanks.